they're slow to adapt, they're slow to do things. So if Team Liquid really wants to go beyond just being a good North American team and being competitively viable internationally, that's what I want to see. Speed it up, get it going, make 27 look slow, go fast. But for CounterLogic Gaming, it's all about stepping up. If you win here, not only are you Team Liquid's second loss of the split, but you also get yourself back up to that even win-loss record. We'll see if they can do it, as Team Liquid starts off by banning the Yorick, targeting some of that split push power. Also going to remove the Thresh, keeping with the theme of spooky champions, as Lucian is banned out by CLG.
All right, W nerfs to Lucian, I feel like did balance the trade a little bit as far as the Lucian, Ezreal, Kai'Sa kind of trinity that was going on. And it's really also moved Kalista even more into the current meta. And that is something that CLG throughout history has also had a lot of success on, the Kalista combos. So maybe we'll see something like that from the bottom lane, because most of the topics here for CLG have been around, of course, after their TSM game, you know, Stixxay getting hit by a lot of those hooks, but kind of the safety of the bottom lane and the playmaking ability of the bottom lane, both of which Kalista goes a long ways towards improving.
Final ban for Team Liquid here will be Sejuani, keeping Wiggly away from that one, as CounterLogic Gaming decide to ban out the Galio that we've been seeing a lot of support play from recently after nerfs took him out of the solo lanes that he was traditionally played in. Team Liquid are going to go ahead and grab themselves the Ezreal first and foremost.
Yeah, that should be expected by CLG, so let's see what the answer is going to be. What are they, trying to trade with it here? Because there's a decent amount of fairly high priority picks still available. CLG haven't done as much of the flex picking as other teams, though. It's been one of the biggest things of the champion select for them, whereas, we see Clutch going off with the early Cassiopeia and Aurelia and Yasuo and having all their solo laner flex picks early on and powerful 1v1 matchups. CLG actually focused on the bottom lane so far.
Picking up the Sivir for themselves, so 80 carry versus 80 carry here. Both sides wanting to get those locked in real quick, not have to worry about it as time goes on. And Jarvan will be picked up. And right as you say, CounterLogic Gaming doesn't really take advantage of flex. They do pick a champion that could be played in either jungle or top lane.
Definitely true. I would say that Darshan and his tank Jarvan game was kind of the one strong point for CLG there. So he definitely has shown that it's super viable for top lane if they want him as a frontliner, if they want to tank there as well. And I really do like Jungle Jarvan right now with the extra attack speed buff that he got on the flag. The clear is much quicker, so you can get off a lot of early ganks.
All right, normally I hate to see Tahm Kench locked in because he bans fun from happening. He stops plays from going off. He makes people not want to do stuff.
However,
but Core JJ piloting it is, I guess, the one thing that makes that champion acceptable, because we've seen Core JJ play this champ plenty of times so far, and by plenty of times, I mean one time last week. But when he did play that champion, he had a lot going on. He was constantly rotating around, always saving double lift, always providing him immediate access to the fights wherever they broke out. So, all right, sure, lock in the Kench.
Yeah, let's be honest, he just batted his pretty eyes at you and he was like, I can pick Tahm Kench, right, Captain Flowers? And you gave it to him. One game before, it was a very good game, but Ezreal Tahm Kench is one of the most difficult bottom lanes to gank, and that's what people have been trying to do against Team Liquid. Try and throw some extra pressure at Double Lift and Core JJ, this kind of all-star duo in the bottom lane. That is the main, carry force for Team Liquid. That might leave Jensen open in the mid lane, though. Jace is definitely flexible. Impact can take it to the top side, but I really do like it in a lot of mid lane matchups when people are not expecting it. If you get the flex in there, into someone who's vulnerable to early attack damage, you can actually harass very effectively with it, and it does help you control scuttle crabs and early jungle movements.
Well, I'm also going to point out, although it doesn't really seem like an Xmithie style champion, Jungle Jace is also a possibility. We have seen it in the LCS before. I don't know if we'll see it here now. CounterLogic Gaming going to go ahead and grab themselves a strong support to go along with that Sivir, grabbing the Braum as we move into the second part of the bans. And you can see CLG getting rid of a pick that Jensen's popped off on before by removing the LeBlanc, as Team Liquid decides to continue to target the jungle pool, removing the Olaf there, keeping that away from Wiggly, as Gragas is banned out by CLG.
Yeah, it seems that they also are thinking that Darshan's probably going to take this Jarvan for the top lane matchup, kind of covering their bases here. Team Liquid already with 2 long-range champions, aka poke champions. So remember, the #1 tool against those that we're looking for is hard engage. And CLG already have speed boost plus Jarvan Cataclysm jumping in. Jarvan Cataclysm, though, works best when you layer it with another champion synergy. You need another big ultimate to use on top of it to kind of double down on that threat. Otherwise, they just kind of turn on Jarvan, and it's more of like a 1v1 situation.
Well, while Team Liquid have managed to build themselves solid poke so far, they're going to follow one of what I think is the greatest rules of League of Legends. Just say no-E to Zoe. They banned that one away. Don't put that in the game. No Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, as CLG is going to go ahead and lock themselves in the Ornn. You want to talk about some engage, man? Let's talk about the Ornn.
There you go. That works perfectly with the Jarvan Cataclysm. You can ensure that they're around for the arrival of the Ram Part 2 when Ornn comes through. Ornn does, especially if it's a solo lane Ornn, or pretty much only if it's a solo lane Ornn, allow you extra scaling. Because if it's a support Ornn, it takes you a long time to get to those levels. You don't usually get to cash in on the extra Ornn upgrade items. So they may be thinking twice about that flex Jarvan, and the Ornn has a decent probability of going top since Braum already in the game and he can't go support.
And here we go. Are we going to make Zyrene excited for this one? Team Liquid? Nope. Instead, we're going to lock into Lee Sin, put Xmithie on a playmaker there, and have Syndra in the mid lane for Jensen. Means we will see the Jason the top side with impact.
Yeah, I do like Rek'Sai as an early game jungler right now. Very strong, but Lee Sin's a little bit more versatile. And for Xmithie, who has had so much success with this champion. I mean, he played this champion at Worlds back when he was on Vulcan. Like 2013, 2014 was that?
It was a while ago.
He definitely has history of competitive success on it, even at the international level, which a lot of people forget about him. You know, he's been a staple jungler here in the North American LCS for so long and always found success. Something that hasn't, though, is the NA Jace. And Impact here will be piloting top lane NA Jace into a tank. So again, early on, you want some pressure there. You want some junglers up there. You need to get the early advantage over this Ornn to make that pick worth it. Otherwise, Darshan scales. He can also scale the rest of CLG with his Ornn upgraded items, and he builds into a tank, and they are very clearly, CLG is a team fighting composition here. They just want standard matchups, whereas Team Liquid, they want to push the tempo much quicker, lane priority into Tahm Kench mobility.
And we didn't touch on the last pick for CLG. Is going to be the Orianna, Power of Evil, known for this champion, known for sort of doing some wacky things on it in the past with Nashor's Tooth and the like, but has also played it very traditionally too. And it combos great with the Jarvan Cataclysm. Get somebody stuck in there, then it's like your gym protein shake. You just got the ball in the middle of the thing, you shake it all up and turn them into some nice, refreshing muscle milk.
Fair enough. Tahm Kench will be the only one that could devour somebody out. Jarvan himself, even without the Cataclysm, is also just a great ball delivery system. You know, he can EQ even early on before he gets sick, so it's a good gank combo to put some threat back on the Orianna side, whereas if Syndra and Orianna are left 1v1 at level 6, Jensen, the Syndra, has the kill pressure, a little bit longer range. You go in for burst damage. That's why Jensen is taking the Ignite in this game, and Power of Evil is taking the heal for the extra move speed. And the defensive utility there. But I have to say, Wiggly on Jarvan definitely has potential to change this mid lane matchup.
Yes, sir.
And take away some of the kill pressure.
CLG tasked with the monumental quest to defeat Team Liquid, which only one team has done so far, as we already mentioned, was TSM earlier on in the first round robin. Uh-oh. The pause.
Let's take another look down the side for openings here, because the level 1 is an early invade from Team Liquid. Xmithie and Doublelift just ran straight to the CLG Raptor camp, made a beeline over there. So I'm assuming they're going to try and start this one off by getting early vision on the Jarvan jungle path. You want to take away that possibility we're talking about of, you know, Jarvan early ganking your Syndra and turning that lane around. Jarvan can definitely go, you know, straight red buff into level 2 gank or red buff into Scuttle Crab control. And since Team Liquid are the ones with the more early game focus here, I think it's so important that they do start it off with a level 1 invade.
Yeah, the Jarvan level 2 gank, one of the most well-known red to lane type of ganks in the entire game. Quick update on the pause. The issue is that Power of Evil is apparently having an issue not being able to see Syndra's orbs. So we're working on addressing that right now, trying to get him to the point where he's able to play the game like normal, and then we'll hop back in once that's taken care of. But yeah, we are seeing a very early invade from Team Liquid. Honestly, the past couple of times we've seen invades, I feel like it's always been one of those delayed ones where you see everybody just waiting until minions spawn, and you make your opponents try to not be able to react in time. But Team Liquid's just appearing to have no trouble with that so far here this time around, just wanting to get in there nice and early. Starting items, everything looks pretty normal. You can see commencing stopwatches on the Lee Sin, the Tahm Kench, the Orianna, and the Braum this time around. So 2 of those on each side once we cross the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, this game's so important too because, you know, setting up right now, we've talked a lot about the clump of teams that have been vying between, you know, 4th and 7th spot basically in the league. And CLG, 5 and 6 right now, basically at the top of the clump. If they can do the monumental quest, the task that you asked of them, Captain Flowers, and take down Team Liquid, then all of a sudden they become another one of these contenders and become so much more secure in that playoff spot. And since CLG had such a good game yesterday, well, we're going to have a lot of level 1 action. Oh, man, I really wanted a commitment there.
No, I don't think so. Smithy will get reduced down to about half HP, but because Team Liquid went in early, it means that he does have enough time to get back to base, heal up, and get back onto the map without too much loss, as the minions are only just now spawning. Camps will be alive in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
As CLG heads back down there towards their lane, but CoreJJ will be waiting in the brush.
1v2, though, so he might have to give control of the brush away.
Gives him a lick before he leaves.
Doesn't want to get benched here.
Oh, Mystic shot.
What did Double get?
All right.
Didn't see any proc for the Klepto there, so not worth.
Unlucky. No sly sack of gold or little goofy potion to walk away with today.
The goofy potion.
Yeah, sometimes it's just goofy little potions.
It does look kind of goofy. You can tell something's off. It's a little bit.
It's like, this isn't in that.
A little bit of extra juice in there.
This is a dollar store potion. I don't want this.
It's the off-brand. It's not the name brand potion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, instead of the Doran's item, it's like
the Boran's item.
Yeah, the Boran's item. Boran's potion of red.
Meanwhile, CoreJJ with some slick skill shot dodging and landing there. In the trade.
Let's see how well Doublelift can weave these Mystic shots onto his opponents during the laning phase. Of course, the more the better, especially with the Kleptomancy, means more procs, more gold, more of those little potions we were talking about. And for Doublelift, a guy who's been the carry for his team more often than not, this is someone that his teams always invest, no matter who it is. He's played on plenty of teams before, but they always like to invest heavily into him. Have that guy be the carry. Let him do the damage. And on a champion like Ezreal, who can scale so well into the late game now, that's a perfectly viable strategy.
And that strategy has been successful. You know, people have done that for good reason. Down bottom, though, he gets attacked.
Nice job from Doublelift, sidestepping the knockup coming out from the Jarvan combo. Doublelift gets to safety without even needing to burn a summoner spell. Feels good, man.
Yeah, that was very slick there. They don't have to use anything. CoreJJ doesn't even have the Devour level quite yet. He's saving his point at the moment. Wiggly going to continue his invading ways, though, with the Jarvan, having shown bottom. Transition into the bottom side of Xsmithy's jungle, because he's assuming that Xsmithy, with that information, is going to do something on the top side of the map. Xsmithy, though, wants to chase him out.
Both junglers near mid. Wiggly gets himself away. Xsmithy will find out the chicken camp is not there. And because of the fact that you can look at the CS count of Wiggly and see that it's only 15, not 16, means he did leave at least one little chicken there that he didn't want to clear out.
Meanwhile, that top lane story we talked about, Jace versus Tank, has to go the way of Jace. And it has to go the way of Jace hard, because we've learned over the years that your Tank, even being down in CS, is going to be so successful if both teams opt into team fights later on.
And I mean, that's what it is, right? If you get into a team fight, what do you want more? Do you want the Ornhorn or Jace throwing down a gate and having a little bit of lightning around?
Depends on how fed the Jace is. If the Jace is an item ahead, a full item and a half, 2 items even, sometimes the leads can get crazy. Then I would prefer the Jace, but exactly. Like if they're even close to even footing, the utility that comes from the big teamfight ultimates is so big. In this case too, Team Liquid are of course looking to split the map. They want Jace to be a viable split pusher because they have a Tahm Kench. Abyssal Voyage in the mid game is one of the greatest tools for professional play because you get to play the split push game. You get extra tempo on these objectives, whittling down turrets, then making plays on people that are spread out and turning the numbers into your advantage.
Wiggly tries to go up there, relieve a little bit of that pressure, as Jensen, running out of mana, decides to use what's left of it to try to grab a trade onto PoE before he clears the last couple of these minions out, gets himself back so he can make sure that he continues to be a threat here in that lane. Of course,
he got a Boran's Ward.
Oh man, a Boran's Ward, that's my favorite kind. It does give me flashbacks to the old school League of Legends, though, when you would actually buy those green wards into inventory, just litter the whole map with them.
I feel like it wasn't even that long ago.
It was like 7 years, bro.
Really? There's no way.
I'm thinking back to like season 2.
Okay.
Not like when they finally changed it. No, I'm thinking back to like the days I remember when your support was just wards and brown boots all game.
Yeah.
Maybe about an Oracle's Elixir if he was feeling real bougie.
All right, well, in the current day and age, we have Scuttle Crabs to get this in. And Xmithie wrangled the Scuttle Crab down to bottom side, so Wiggly goes mid instead.
He's like, you're gonna wrangle a crab, I'm gonna wrangle your mid laner, but Jensen gets himself back, he's okay. Ignite on this mid laner, remember, means no TP, so you can't just get yourself out and then immediately come right back into the lane. He did want to stick around long enough to make sure his first back at least gets him that lost chapter, but Wiggly's going to make sure he shoves this up. He's giving better back timing to PoE, so PoE can go ahead, get back, make his purchase, return to lane, and Jensen's going to be on the back foot there with yet another wave showing up before he can get back.
Yeah, high value Q there from Wiggly. He was able to get the cannon minion and another melee minion for himself. Feels really good as a jungler to snag those little bits of gold off the lanes as you're passing through. Power of Evil does get the reset. Summoner spells pretty much available for everybody, but bottom lane is going to have to use his.
Flash to get himself out of trouble before he takes too much extra damage. Xmithie continuing to retreat now, as you will see Biofrost show back up into the lane here. But one thing that I think is important to point out when you look at those mid lane backs, although Power of Evil got the better back timing, he has 2 Dark Seals and a Corrupting Potion. Very lane-heavy investment towards this itemization. While Jensen went straight for the Lost Chapter because he had the money to do so, it means Jensen is going to hit that first item much more quickly than his opponent is.
Power of Evil really making use of those early laning items, get the early potion effectiveness. Can take a lot of trades, and the flat value of the stats on those rings is very, very efficient for the early game until you have to start taking into consideration the economy of your inventory space.
Dark Seal actually, like, I believe 137% gold efficient on champions that have mana. It's pretty ridiculous. Even on champs that don't have mana, it's still around 100. So one of the best laning items you can invest in. If you are looking to step your lane game up as a player who plays a lot of mages, consider some Dark Seals.
Ocean Drake pretty good for laning as well, and CLG have 4 people on it. No double lift around. If Xmithie wants to do anything, he'll have to steal it.
He has no flash to try to get out with. Red team has slain the dragon. It's ultimately the Braum who does it. Core JJ trying to get himself out is going to be tagged up with the Winter's Bite. CLG seeing if they can follow it up a little bit more as topside Impact, who dies solo for first blood.
Can I get a replay of that player cam from Darshan? Because my boy is popping off. He gets the solo kill, Ornn onto Jace.
How does that happen?
Impact is fully embraced.
Okay, let's see
Jace
it.
in North America. He's against the wall. He's going to get it. Oh, it's not now. Conqueror is active, but Impact.
Wait, he got out.
He flashed it, so he literally just flashed it. Darshan just flashed on him and smashed his head in with the hammer.
Look, he's literally cosplaying the Ornn. He's clapping, just like the Ornn clapped the Jace.
Hammer and fist. That's all he needs.
Look at him strut. He's got confidence in his walk now. He knows what he just did.
All right, Impact wants some revenge. Let's see what happens.
He's like, you want to mess with me, bro? You remember what happened last time?
Whoa!
Well, this time you got a buddy, so that's not going to happen again. See ya!
Oh, yeah. Big man there taking the 2v1
Yeah. All chat, nice 2v1, noob.
Funny, though, it's a very, very viable strategy and should be employed by everyone. Call your jungler
Yes,
it helps.
Anytime someone uses the word noob non-ironically, it's not usually something you should take serious.
I mean, honestly, you need this plan to work out. As we said in Champ Select, your Jace here does have the CS lead. If that starts to go away, if Darshan gets solo kills, starts building up all these defensive items, and then you can't continue to get that lead, you can't continue to get some side lane priority, then your composition kind of goes out the window. So as funny as that little moment is, very important that Xmithie goes up there and corrects this, top lane environment.
Impact working. He's got the Phage as the first item, probably going towards that Black Cleaver that you normally see. A lot of armor penetration comes out for Jace as the champion needs to make sure that whenever he hits, it's hitting towards the closest to true damage that it possibly can be. Over on the side of Darshan, just building up some general lane power items with the Catalyst, and then also having the Glacial building towards a righteous glory that you often see for this champion. Cinder Hulk Jarvan for Wiggly. I talked about this a little bit yesterday with Azael. Not my preferred approach to the Jarvan. It does make him tankier, but you lose some of that threat that you have with your ganks in the early game, but it will scale better as he goes into late and makes him more of that big beefy meatball.
Yeah, I mean, the Cinder Hulk definitely doesn't have as much effectiveness for gains, because one thing that's underrated about going Warrior, I think, is the cooldown reduction. Flat cooldown reduction super early is very effective. And the Cinder Hulk doesn't give you that. It also is a kind of a scaling HP item where you get more for bonus HP. But as you said, any sort of flat HP in the early game is going to help you out with, you're just looking for an EQ Cataclysm to hold somebody in place, set them up for somebody else on your team to take down.
EQR, and then don't die before your opponent dies while they're stuck in the Cataclysm with you. That's the name of the game here for Wiggly, as we have crossed the 10-minute mark. So the stopwatches we checked in on during the pause are all now active. We'll see if those come into play as the skirmishes continue. 1.5 minutes until the next Drake is live, and it will be Ocean number 2. We talked about how there's some powerful poke on the side of Team Liquid, and if CLG can grab themselves 2 Ocean Drakes early on, it'll do wonders for helping negate some of that as we get towards the mid-game.
Definitely true. Up on the top side, Darshan not deterred by the 2v1 earlier, and he is still making Impact back off of the wave. And you can see, the CS not going to grow anymore for Impact. Difficult for him to continue to try and leverage any sort of laning advantage over this Ornn after Darshan got that kill money. Plus, he's also had Wiggly up here, who's on the Rift Herald currently, but Xmithie finds him.
Power of Evil also rotating over. They can bait Xmithie into this.
Sindra's here though, that's
trap, but it's Jensen who's able to make the play, throws Power of Evil right back over to Jensen, but the stasis gonna stop the ultimate. Power of Evil stepping away, also getting out of the scat of the week, but it's not gonna be enough. Jensen grabbing the kill number 1, Wiggly might be number 2. Xmithie wanting to chase after this one, doesn't need to though, they already got what they came for.
Big 2v2 skirmish there for Team Liquid with this Syndra bringing in her ultimate. Even though it gets stopwatch, all the orbs are on the ground right next to it as well, and it's very difficult to escape that. So Syndra's able to pick up the kill onto Orianna, and then Xmithie also chases Wiggly out of his own jungle, finishes up some of the Raptors.
And you mentioned the historic Lee Sin pick for Xmithie. We know this guy is a playmaker on this champion, and there you go, once again, going in, able to make the flash kick happen to knock that enemy mid laner into a spot where despite having the flash, despite having the heal, despite having the stasis, he's still going in the ground.
Yeah, there was no hesitation in that 2v2 from the side of Team Liquid. Xmithie and Jensen definitely on the same page.
Darshan will continue farming up here in the top side, and that 15 CS differential is not enough, in my opinion, to justify the NA Jace thus far. We'll see how it works out, but things are not looking ideal up there for the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, he's even gone with a Black Cleaver because he knows he's going to have to shred a lot of this early armor. And in my opinion, that kind of reduces the effect that you're trying to have in your overall, team goals with this pick. We'll see if it actually does work out in the 1v1 side and he's able to push. But honestly, I feel like CLG are feeling so good about how at least the top side of the early game has gone. Bottom side, Double Lift is and Core JJ seem like they've had control most of this time, pushing Stixxay and Biofrost in. And they should be able to look at this second Ocean Drake for themselves.
Team Liquid wanting to steal it with a blue buff here. Oh, that's what Syndra's known for. Yoink the blue away, throw him down into the river and burst him out. The smite comes in from Xmithie just to make sure that their opponents can't resecure it. Horn sounds, but Jensen with some quick feet, sidestepping out of the way once again. Gonna be dashing out.
Oh,
The
Bio?
Fissure finally finds him. Does CLG really want this, though?
Seems like
they're an awful lot.
Yeah, they're throwing out a lot of ultimates here to try and make it work, but they're not really landing much of anything. And during this whole time, Impact continues to split push on top. The Jace is pulling back ahead. He's going to be able to take this turret. Got a bunch of minion waves as well. Even though the plates fell a little bit earlier, this does give more leverage to the Jace, as well as let Team Liquid slip in for the Ocean Trade.
That felt so sunk cost to me from CLG. They felt like, okay, we're already committing to this. We got so many people down here. Just throw more stuff at it. Throw more stuff at it. Throw more stuff at it. And then nothing sticks. They lose everything. And Xmithy's coming in now. He knows Power of Evil used everything last time. So there are no tools left to stop the burst. And it's another easy one for TL.
Mid-lane Monday on Sunday is definitely provided for us because all the junglers have been camping mid. Jensen here gets another gank for himself, and the Syndra is definitely going to provide that big burst threat on any target that they find around mid now. All right, so again, the kick into ultimate instantly here, and there is nothing that you can do in that situation. As soon as he got out of the movement displacement from the kick, stunned up, bursted down.
What are you going to do? I mean,
And back in the fountain.
when everything got expended the last time, stopwatch, both summoner spells, there's just nothing left you can do when Xmithy's able to position himself like that, especially when nobody else on your team is going to be standing anywhere near you looking for some kind of a play because everything was spent on the dragon fight. The entirety of the situation just said, Xmithy, come gank me, and Xmithy said, yes, sir, my pleasure.
Team Liquid taking back control pretty quickly here. The early game back on track for how they want this one to go. Jensen now 1,100 gold up over Power of Evil with these Xmithy plays that he's been able to pull off.
And look at the damage to champions. Jensen has done almost twice as much as Power of Evil has been able to do so far.
2 Power of Evil, most of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, most of that was onto Power of Evil's own health bar. So very scary stuff. Topside, you can see the Jace working on some of that lethality you traditionally expect to see from him now with the Serrated Dirk in inventory on top of the Black Cleaver. Continuing to shove up here into Darshan's Ornn, who's now 30 CS behind. So luckily for Impact, we talked about how it didn't seem like he was winning hard enough, but Darshan committing towards that bottom side play that didn't result in anything means Impact did get back on track, and he's still very scary as that Jace. CLG will be moving some of these wards around. Remember, keep your eye on this guy. The plays that makes on the top cast are really good, but Darshan's coming in now. Sounds off the Ornn Horn. Going after Jensen, seeing if maybe they can find the damage. Stopwatch comes out. Wiggly wants to be there to find the slam into the ground. The True Shot Barrage comes through. It's CLG making the save. Flash down the wall. Taxi service. Get an Uber, Jensen. Go home. Oh, no, never mind. They take him out anyway. Over the wall comes some more damage. Shutdown credit goes over to the Braum. Biofrost makes sure they grab 2 on that one. CLG and Jensen will both fall.
Man, I thought he was going to save him out of that one, and then Tom Kench was going to do it, but CLG find the kills. In the meantime, it cost him a turret on top side. Impact still pushing away with the Jace.
Impact has been left to his own devices up here. Darshan is making plays, but it does come at a pretty heavy cost. Xmithy now trying to buy some time, getting himself away. Instead, he's going to be collapsed on with a 5-man squad of CLG. Thrown up into the air and beaten back down into the ground. It's Power of Evil finding himself his first kill of the game. But what's this? Kobe. Somebody's knocking at the door. It's Team Liquid. They're saying they're going to knock this sucker in. CLG will lose their base defense 17 minutes into the game.
Impact has been playing PvE for the last 5 minutes here, and it has resulted in 3 turrets destroyed.
Darshan now almost 50 CS behind, but he has made plays by making these TPs. Let's take another look at how they set it up.
So they see Jensen in the river here, and they want to take advantage of this Syndra. So CLG gets split off. Darshan is going to turn his focus here over to the Tom Kench, try and delay it. They almost burst the Syndra down before CLG gets out of that stun. Then he flashes over, is able to get the Devour off, but Biofrost answers flashes with the Ignite, finds the kill, and they do finish it up. In the end, the biggest change has been the top lane. It's just wide open now with all the plays that CLG have tried to make on the bottom side of the map. It has cost them dearly in structures on top.
And losing that inhibitor turret so early, I mean, you mentioned how yesterday was the first time we saw Team Liquid win a game without even needing the Baron, and often the difficulty of why you need Baron is to break the inhibitor turret line. It's so difficult without having that extra enchantment on your minions, that extra resistance to the wave clear, but that's not a problem. The inhibitor can already just be shot at for free, and Team Liquid has to know that moving forward. Shelly will only be alive for another 35 seconds, so Doublelift and Xmithie want to burn this one down quick, grab the eye and have it ready to go, see if they can secure that as another tool in their belts moving forward in this mid-game against CLG. They've already got 3 turrets down, but normally when you see the 3 up there, it's the 3 in the outer ring, but this time it's just the 3 in top lane.
Bottom side again. CLG focusing on impact now. They've got 3 people down here. Will they go for this dive? They've been seen.
Ward placed down. Impact going in onto Wiggly. Biofrost waiting right there nearby. Impact could be in some trouble here. CoreJJ showing up to make sure he's not. Stixxay pop the on the hunt. Now CLG will use that one to retreat. And Impact will just continue farming up as Darshan and Power of Evil will deal with Shelly there in the mid lane. Not the most effective use of the Rift Herald in the world. Turret still standing. Horn sounds off. Team Liquid trying to get themselves away from danger. CLG's engaged, not going to find it this time.
Yeah, that was super long range attempt there, and there's no speed buff from Sivir left to be able to close that distance for anyone else for CLG. So they're not able to find this engagement. And once again, this team that's a very strong 5-on-5 composition, straight front to back team fighting should be in their advantage, aren't able to get their team fight, and Team Liquid are able to chip away at some more objectives. Dragon started out at the same time. Impact is trying to take the bottom turret.
Team Liquid will grab the second Ocean Drake of the game for themselves. That's the 3rd one that has spawned overall, so only Oceans thus far. Has to change after this point, as Team Liquid will grab their 4th turret of the game. The first one not taken in top lane as the mid-tier 1 goes down, and Impact will sing the same song here in the bottom lane. It's all coming up Team Liquid right now, as that's going to put them at a 3,500 gold lead over their opponents and open up the opportunity to move deeper into CLG territory and start putting that vision down.
And CLG haven't been able to trade much back during the time where Impact is pushing here. Stixxay's trying to get this top side turret in exchange, and it looks like Wiggly might even dive on Jensen here. There is a Tahm Kench around though, so you have to be so careful about overcommitting.
Wiggly doesn't want to go in for that. They recognize exactly what you said. The save potential is there. With no eyes on CoreJJ, you always got to be wondering where that Abyssal Voyage marker is going to show up and if he can get there in time. No stopwatch for Jensen means he can't buy as much time as he did in the last fight, but it's still going to be rather difficult. Mid lane, Power of Evil continuing to farm up here on this Orianna. Has the Void Staff second. I have to, every time I see this item, I always have to check because it's really bad if you... Okay, it's a really bad purchase.
Nobody has magic resistance except for the one no magic mantle on CoreJJ, I believe.
Tahm Kench, it's cost effective. On everybody else, you're looking at 30 MR, 40 MR, 40 MR. The Jace now having the Mercury Treads, at least it's cost effective against him, but that item is largely ineffective against Xmithie, Jensen, and Doublelift. So Power of Evil must be expecting to be needing to hit Impact and CoreJJ.
Oh!
Impact tries to get himself away now. CLG not willing to stop just yet. Biofrost coming around from below, but no real reason to commit any further to this one. Impact did get himself away.
Flash used there, so that is going to be a cooldown they need to track. If your split pusher doesn't have the flash or Ghost Blade active, then you have to be a lot more careful in applying that pressure. And they don't have another super safe split pusher. The Syndra herself, very low mobility. Impact, though, with that Black Cleaver chunking away at the armor, and he might just finish it.
The flash away to prevent the solo kill. Impact almost getting his revenge there. The lethality plus the BF sword in inventory, likely working towards what could be a Guardian Angel. As mid lane is Doublelift continuing to push up. Already has that Muramana fully complete, by the way. 2nd tier stacking up to about 300 right now, getting closer and closer to that super powered airship.
Yeah, they kept on leaving the Jace alone, and Impact has gotten so much money in the side lanes pushing down these turrets that with the Conqueror, with all this armor shred and lethality, he's actually able to put tremendous threat onto even the tankiest of targets.
You can see exactly what I mentioned earlier. With all the tier 1 turrets down, Team Liquid has set up shop in the CLG jungle, putting down wards, sweeping out all of those that CLG try to replace in retaliation, and making CLG always guess who's going to be waiting around the brush, waiting around the corner every time they walk in, and it makes it so easy to shadow Impact and protect the split push.
All right, wards being cleared out as well, but you can see there are still some deep ones for CLG, and those are important. This is, again, a 5-on-5 setup where they want to have everyone there to build off their synergies in team fights. And if you can have someone teleport deep on a ward, come from an unexpected angle, it can be big.
Speaking of unexpected angles, I love the wacky animation buffering you get sometimes.
Yeah, when 2 dashes.
Jace bonks him, but he's already dashed out of the way, so he bonks at like a perpendicular angle. I don't even know what the right word for it is, but the turret will fall regardless of how the Ornn got smacked around, and that makes it 6-1 in turret count in favor of Team Liquid. Next Drake spawning here in about a minute, and since it's Mountain, that means that Team Liquid taking that one does a lot for their future turret pushing ability, as well as Baron secure. 24 minutes into the game now. Like I say, I want to see this team be quick, be swift once they get these leads. You're already up to about 5,000 gold almost. If they can lock this one away before 30 minutes, that shows me that Team Liquid is a team that has their mid-game act together.
All right, well, right now, they can push back out and look to clear out some of these control wards. CLG put all their control wards here around that mid lane, expecting the last push to come for the last secondary turret that they have. Darshan in the side lane, though.
Ghost Blade popped. Impact says, I'm coming for you, but Darshan says nope.
All right, they are going to get the reset off. Team Liquid, again, they should continue to split. They have Tahm Kench in the mid lane with their Ezreal, very, very safe. They can push the minion waves, and they can also join any sort of skirmishes on either side of the map. The one that's not safe, I'd say the most vulnerable, is the Syndra, where they have Jensen pushing on the top side. So he's being very cautious. He's trying to put down his own wards. And you can see the Tahm Kench is also hovering to this side of the map. All that Jensen has to get away is his own flash, and then he actually doesn't even have a stopwatch anymore to buy time for other people to collapse. Smithy, though, might test red.
Wants to see if he can steal this one away here. Wiggly waiting. Smithy jumps in, does manage to steal it out there as Wiggly's going to be bursted down, nearly killed. Stopwatch comes out as more damage flies through, and Jensen takes that one. With Wiggly out of the picture, this could be the Baron call for Team Liquid. They know the enemy jungler's down for 30 seconds.
And look at that. They apply pressure on both sides. They force CLG to collapse into the jungle. So during that, they gain more room on those minion waves and continue to push in the pressure.
Doublelift will bring up the minion wave in the mid lane. The tier 2 turret left standing here is the only thing outside of the CLG base still yet to fall on this map. Doublelift will put a couple of shots into it. Team Liquid will not make any sort of a Baron move just yet. They recognize that Impact is on the bottom side. They just wanted him to run his course down there instead of trying to commit everything over into the pit.
Oh.
But now it's more damage, more CC, but not enough.
Jensen flashed onto him. he flashed and ignited onto him. Pressed both summoner spells there. In the end, Biofrost lives through it, even with the Syndra flash. That being said, we talked about Syndra being the vulnerable one. Cooldown should be tracked for CLG, even though Team Liquid continue to control all the neutral objectives here.
Yep, Mountain Drake goes down. That's the third elemental Drake of the game for the side of Team Liquid. Next will be another Mountain, and that will be the final elemental to spawn here, as afterwards we will be past the 35-minute point, which means the Elder Drake will come online. Right now, the name of the game is this Tier 2. Team Liquid want to remove that as quickly as they can, bring them even more control over the map. Biofrost is over the wall in the pit. He is going to be tagged by the Sonic Wave, but Smithy doesn't want to be forcing any plays only onto the enemy support. Not really a high-value target, especially considering they don't exactly know where Darshan is. They don't know if there could be an Ornhorn coming around from deep into the forest. Instead, they're just going to wait this one out. Bottom side, Impact continuing to push up in that split push. Now nearly has the 100 CS advantage over his opponent, and that's what you're talking about. Well, how far ahead is my Jace? Your Jace is pretty far ahead.
Definitely, let's see. Yep.
3K.
That's feeling pretty good. They've kept CLG bottled up in their own territory for so long, too, that the map went really dark for CLG. So they're getting very scared about vision. Wiggly and Biofrost now trying to work in tandem to get a little bit of information for them so that they can know if Team Liquid start up the Baron and they start taking any risks that CLG can try and use to get back into the game. Because that's what they're looking for now, is an opportunity to jump on Team Liquid while they overextend themselves a little bit.
And one thing I'm looking at here this game is compare the firepower to the resistances. Because if you look at Jensen and Doublelift, you've got Luden's Echo, Morellonomicon, another needlessly large wad, both tier items fully evolved for the side of Doublelift. And what's he shooting? A Jarvan that has the components of a Knight's Vow and a Cinderhulk. That is not going to be tanky at all, and Wiggly will likely just get exploded when he goes in. Instead of going straight to Knight's Vow, decides to go for the Gargoyle Stoneplate, which will help a lot, but you've still got to be so perfect in your execution on these fights for CLG.
Yeah, I actually like that switch there, too, from Wiggly. The Gargoyle Stoneplate, a much more selfish defensive item provides all these defenses to you specifically as the Jarvan who's jumping in inside the Cataclysm, taking a lot of the skill shots. So we'll see if that's enough for him to survive, but because on the top side, Darshan, their other tank, is having a hard time faring against Impact. Maybe a 2v1 though.
The horn is sounded. They want to try to bring Power of Evil down here, but it's not going to work, and that means because there's multiple bodies in the bottom side, as Wiggly blown up here in the mid lane, taken very low, kept alive just barely. Biofrost nearly going to be killed here now as well. CoreJJ grabbing the kill on that one, goes into the thick skin. The stasis also keeping him alive. Redemption is channeled. CoreJJ barely gets himself out.
Close one there. CoreJJ does survive in the end though, and the shock blasts are coming through as well. This mid turret looks like it's going down.
Stixxay eats some damage from Double Lift. More skill shots flying out. The Mystic shot is on less than a 1 second cooldown when Double Lift is landing these. Makes it very oppressive to have to deal with as Team Liquid will finally acquire that mid tier 2.
Yeah, he's landing a lot of the combos there onto the back line, finding some decent damage to force them back off of the turret. Despite all the Ocean Drakes in this game, Team Liquid still are able to put out enough damage there at the secondary to take the last one. Remember, this whole time, the top lane inhibitor is also open. It is exposed. That turret was taken very early on by Impact.
17 minutes into the game, but Team Liquid has not felt comfortable pushing that far up into enemy territory so far. I don't blame them. You're up against an Ornn, you're up against a Jarvan and an Ori that has an incredible wombo combo. You don't want to allow your opponents to perform some sort of a pincer attack, collapse on you. Team Liquid is playing it slow, playing it smart, but now that they've got this lead that they do, now that they're up 8,000 gold, I don't want to see them play it slow anymore. I want to see a Baron take. I want to see them push for the win with the incredible lead that they've made for themselves because they've definitely got the tools to do it. Second lethality item just now fully completed. Dustblade of Drakthar up and running for Impact.
And I do think that Team Liquid are on a bit of a timer here. CLG have a Sivir, level 16. Multiple crit items scaling now. They've got the Ornn who started to upgrade items. Power of Evil has the upgraded Death Cap already. There's the upgraded Infinity Edge for Stixxay as well. Even though CLG are down in gold, the value of these Ornn upgrades is really starting to rack up. And he continues to get another one every level that Darshan gains. So CLG are playing defensively. They should continue to huddle and just keep their eyes open for somebody misstepping, a positional error that allows them to fully engage.
And for those that aren't aware, the value of the Ornn item upgrades is about 1,000 gold per item. So you just count the amount of upgrades and add that total 1,000 of gold to your score at the top. Considering you got 4 of them, that's 4K extra. So CLG is pretty much at 53,000 gold right now, which makes it seem a lot less daunting compared to the 49 versus 57 that's displayed on your screen. CLG will continue to have to defend, though. This is definitely not going to be an easy battle for them. They'll have to fight uphill for quite a while. Double Lift will keep slinging these Mystic shots out. 2.5 seconds if he misses, 1 second if he doesn't on the cooldown. Those things are going to be flying all over the place. Stixxay will move up into the top side to clear the minion wave out as Impact continues to lay siege to the bottom lane here. Darshan at least effective enough at clearing out the minion wave that Impact is only getting 1 or 2 autos per wave, but now Team Liquid takes the opportunity. They go into the Baron pit. And this means if you try to bring in your Ornn to stop this as CLG, you have to fully commit because Impact will take inhibitor turrets and inhibitors in the bottom side. Xmithie and the rest of Team Liquid will be forced away for now. Power of Evil taken very, very low. And if Wiggly's bursted down, you got no way to steal away the Baron. Wiggly nearly killed off the Redemption coming in, but will not be enough. Xmithie grabbing the kill onto him. Going to be killed in retaliation by Power of Evil. CLG get themselves away. Bottom side is going to be Jace cracking the base. CoreJJ making his way into the top lane now as Jensen has the kill onto Biofrost. Team Liquid with the one-man advantage, pushing into top lane. Here's where they're going to cash in on what they got 17 minutes ago.
Plus, on the bottom side, Impact took that turret as well. So Orianna trying to fend off the Jace. Here goes the engage.
Sometimes it's not the Baron, it's just the idea of Baron that helps you break the base. Top lane inhibitor still under pressure. Darshan trying to go after Double Lift, but can't close the distance. Bottom inhibitor falls, top inhibitor falls, and Team Liquid have asserted their dominance over this match.
They have stuck to the split-pushing Jace game plan, and they have been rewarded. There was a blip on the radar where Darshan gets the solo kill on Impact, but Xmithie quickly went to go answer that play. And since then, Impact has had one thing on his mind: turret destruction.
He has accomplished that goal beautifully final elemental Drake of the game will go over to Team Liquid. Let's take another look at how this all played out.
All right, that Ezreal ult finding a lot of value onto Power of Evil. Here's the big catch, though. They stun up Wiggly. Stone Plate lets him live an incredible amount of time, making Smithy have to commit there. And it is a 1-for-1 in junglers, but Biofrost, having tried to protect Wiggly himself, also loses his life, and that gave the extra person for Team Liquid to move inside the base with.
But now you've got free pushing in the top and bottom lane for the side of Team Liquid. Ornn is not going to have an easy time killing off super minions. Xmithie tries to go in, find some sort of a play onto the CLG lines. Wiggly wants to counter-engage now. CLG recognizing the fact that they can't just sit and wait for Team Liquid to poke. On the Hun has already been used. Darshan looking to find some damage down into Impact, but he's going to be losing the fight, has to flash away. Impact firing off the accelerated shock blast, looking for something, won't quite find it. CLG still trying to stay safe for now. Horn sounds off, it's only going to find Core JJ, and CLG now has to get themselves the hell out of dodge. Biofrost trying to get out of Xmithie, going to go into the Guardian Angel. Wiggly taken down to half HP, Stoneplate keeping him alive. Stun comes through, liquid damage follows up. Wiggly surely going to be brought down here. Barely gets himself away, but is Biofrost the sacrificial lamb? The shock blast finds no one, and somehow CLG gets all 5 out.
They both barely live, but the Baron will probably be forfeit. Team Liquid moved immediately over to the objective after forcing CLG back into their base. These super minions are streaming in through both sides, and now Team Liquid will reset and push it in.
Baron at 35 minutes over to Team Liquid, a 10,000 gold lead, closer to 5,000 if you include the Ornn item upgrades for the side of CLG. Oh, it's scary now if you're CLG. You're pretty much betting everything on one last team fight. When Team Liquid tries to push into the base, you have to engage, you have to make something happen. They were not able to find it in mid lane at all, though.
All right, mid lane minions buffed up by Baron. The rest of CLG coming. Double F picks up the red buff, and they should group up. Sivir, though, continues to buy the crit items, and with the upgraded Infinity Edge, very high value in her inventory, has one more slot to fill. So
100% crit.
Yeah, Stixxay definitely has the damage output here. If CLG can focus their team fight and land some crowd control to set him up, they can definitely take down some targets.
100% crit for Sivir means every shot, without fail, is always going to be popping up some big numbers. But Team Liquid has plenty of big numbers of their own to flex with how fed these carries are. Pushing on to the last standing Tier 3 turret. Mid inhibitor, the only one left alive. CLG trying to hold the line. Wiggly looking for the flank. He's off to the side, wants to come around from behind. Recognizes that Team Liquid could have collapsed on him, gets himself back. Shield from Biofrost trying to stop the True Shot barrage.
Yeah, you don't have much time when there's super minions that are buffed up by Baron buff. You really have to make your engagement quick. Otherwise, you just get overwhelmed with the amount of minions that come streaming through.
Well, the third inhibitor's already down. That means double super minions in every lane now. Things could not be more dire for the side of CLG. Team Liquid, all they need to do is win one last fight, and they will find their 11th win of the split, go up to 11-1, continue to maintain their firm grasp on first place as CLG falls deeper into the clump, but they want to do anything in their power to prevent it. I just have to wonder what is in their power now that they're this far behind in the game. Look at the minions. It is an ocean of blue streaming across the map into the CLG base.
Yeah, Team Liquid don't have to take any risks either. They can just stand around, buff up the minions, throw out these shock blasts and mystic shots under the turrets. This is gonna be it.
There we go. Wiggly looking to go in onto double if the Ornn horn sounds off. Tries to find it on someone, only gets a field goal right between both the carries. Wiggly taken very low, nearly gonna be taken down. Impact now goes into the resurrection. Xmithie into the back line, trying to kill onto Wiggly. Darshan and CLG, what can you even do? You'll lose both Nexus turrets. Darshan tries to go down onto Xmithie and grab the kill, but it's Core JJ and Jensen swooping into the side. The killing spree for Jensen as Stixxay grabs a shutdown onto Impact. Will it be enough to hold the line? Biofrost will fall. Power of Evil has to retreat. The redemption used, but it will not suffice. Stixxay's forced back into the fountain, and Team Liquid will take the win.
Team Liquid split pushing to victory here, using that Jace throughout the game to take down turrets. And they will await Cloud9 next week in a highly anticipated battle between #1 and #2 at the top of the standings.
Team Liquid closed this one out, like you said. They played to the win conditions. It wasn't the fastest one in the world, not like yesterday's. 38 minutes overall game time, but they still did exactly what they needed to do. One death on both Jensen, Doublelift, as well as Core JJ, so all these guys keeping themselves safe throughout the game. Of course, there were those mid-game team fights where they got caught off guard a little bit by Darshan's teleports, but even afterwards, they stayed true to the Impact game plan. They said, all right, we had some losses here, but our wins were great enough across the map. It does not matter.
Very true. And CLG remain in the clump of teams around 4th place to 7th place, trying for that playoff spot. Halfway through the split, there's still a long ways to go for a lot of these guys.
And it's such a dangerous place to be in because 4th through 7th, that's 4 spots. 3 of them make playoffs. But if you slip just a little bit too far, your grip just gets a little bit too weak. All of a sudden, you're in 7th place, and your postseason's looking an awful lot like sitting on the couch. Not where you want to be. But now that the game is done and Team Liquid has found yet another win, let's throw it down to Avli, who's ready to hear more from the triumphant squad.
Thanks, Flowers. Jensen, a nice win for Team Liquid and a 2-0 weekend for you. Congratulations on the win. Kind of looking outside the game, I'm curious and I want to ask you, you're in a position where every single week you are the favored team to pick up these wins. Does that change your mentality coming into these games at all?
Not really. I mean, I think we just have high expectations of ourselves and we know we're the best team, so we still play like we're the best team, but at the same time, we still do a lot of like preparation for every team. Like we don't underestimate any team or anything like that. So I think we still treat every team the same, even though like we definitely feel like we're the better team. So no, I don't think anything really changes just because we're the best team.
And next weekend on Saturday, you take on Cloud9 and Niski. Niski said that he is excited for the rematch against you. Is there anything that you'd like to say to Cloud9 or maybe their fans that are hoping that this time they'll be able to take the win?
No, not really. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me too much who we play against. I mean, playing against Cloud9 is going to be big because it's my old team, but I think the first time was like the big game for me. I think now I'm just going to like treat it like any other match. Like it would suck to lose, but no, not really. I think we're just going to treat it the same as any other team.
All right, well, I'm wishing you the best of luck with that match. Thank you and congratulations again. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Avli. Another win on the board for Team Liquid as they move to an impressive 11-1. And again, making that rematch against Cloud9 next week all that much more exciting as they both have picked up wins here today in fairly impressive fashion.
Yeah, and I like what I'm seeing out of TL. You can feel like they are really trying to address the can they play early game concern that some people were having, myself included. But with this,
NAJs came out.
Yeah, NAJs came out. They had Lee Sin in an early game comp this time with a Syndra, so completely winning top side of the map. And even Tom Kench and Ezreal can get aggressive in that bot lane.
Right, and you heard it from Jensen himself. He said he's not too concerned about the fact that they play C9 next week. He's just going to go into it kind of like be whatever. We're the better team. We're going to win. I don't care who you are. And that's the cool mentality.
I just hope Niski doesn't last pick Orianna into Syndra when they're saving their blind pick, because that was one that
pick Zed next week, you know?
Pick an assassin. You have a relatively stable topside matchup. It is going to get bullied, of course, and you might have to cover for him a little bit. You have a bot lane that's not going to be able to go aggressive. And then you pick a mid lane who can't really go aggressive in the matchup. So you have 3 do-nothing lanes with a Jarvan, and you hope to outscale.
Right.
I thought that was a little lackluster of a pick.
I really liked seeing Darshan on Jax yesterday, and I would have hoped that they did a better 4 or 5 pick here. If you're going to save your last pick for mid, you should try to draw some kind of counter. But Orianna to Syndra, that's generally favored towards Syndra. You force the enemy mid laner to go to cleanse, and if you have a Lee Sin on your side, that's such a strong 2v2. And as you saw, the fights that they did take around mid, they won almost every single one. So
no Jax for Darshan this time around. He's on the Ornn pick instead. Does get that solo kill on the Impact's NAJs. However, things get totally flipped around by my man in the jungle, like Smithy, absolutely crushing this split here in the LCS. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those early plays because this guy is everywhere and he's a part of everything that goes well for Team Liquid.
Right, I'm so depressed if I'm Darshan personally. Right before this, about 20 seconds ago, you can see his player cam. He's saying some different words, you know, some choice words.
Some strong language.
He's super happy about the solo kill. He's walking back to lane after getting that solo kill, and then bam, McSmithy just camping there for him and gets the kill.
Yeah, I mean, Good follow-up here by Jensen. I can't believe you tweeted out that he's not a good mid laner.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. I personally put Jensen as #1 on my list of...
Well, I don't know why your Twitter account says that then.
that was interesting.
Walking back your earlier statements, peculiar.
Yeah, and I think Smithy did a really good job of snowballing that lead because he was able to wrap around, get the second kill. And at this point, that's what we're saying. He influences the top side matchup, influences the mid lane matchup. Your bot lane's naturally losing a little bit. And like, what are you left to do if you're CLG except hope they don't end the game?
Right, and you are sitting with a composition that maybe you can rest on the idea of, well, we hit 6 items without losing all 3 of our inhibs, and we have a fighting chance in this game. But that's the other aspect about playing against Team Liquid, is that they always feel in total control. From the early game there, demonstrated by Smithy and bridging the gap and getting advantages to his laners, all the way through the end game, where it just... They never seem to falter in a way that, for example, we saw TSM do late in that game against C9 to let the other team have that fighting chance.
Right, and I really like Smithy on Lee Sin. His positioning on Lee Sin is really, really good. You see oftentimes a lot of Lee Sins just standing with their team, kind of going like from front to back. Smithy doesn't do that. He's always waiting in the wings, somewhere in the forest, just hiding and be like, hey, I'm going to come behind you, or at least pretend I am and put the pressure on the enemy team. So I really like him on Lee Sin. I hope he keeps picking it.
Let's talk about then the matchup against Cloud9 next week, because I posed the question to you while we were watching the game, Mark. Outside of Smithy, who are your next top junglers in the LCS?
And I said I think Sven Skaren's really good. He still dies a lot. You know, he's one of the leaders in the jungle position, but he's also really good at playmaking, and he always is in the right place to set his team up, it feels like, to find their advantages. And so I think he's been super good and a good matchup into Smithy potentially. But it's a tough one because you know, you start seeing Impact playing more carries. You saw there was a little bit of a struggle today for Licorice in that matchup when the other person got the counter pick. So,
right.
I mean, that was supposed to be the guy who's going to hard carry the game. He did have a great mid to late game, though, with all the flanks he found on Aatrox.
Last time they've played each other, Doublelift solo killed Sneaky because he teleported, couldn't cancel it, gets solo killed 1v1. And I don't think Sneaky liked that one that much. Considering that Doublelift's the one that started the Sneaky in lane meme too, I think he wants his revenge. Maybe we'll see a Sneaky Cassiopeia coming out to try and 1v1 Doublelift this time.
Played a little bit safer this time around, protect his teleports. Either way, gearing up for a very exciting match next Saturday, Team Liquid versus Cloud9, but Team Liquid continue to sit atop the league. That does it for Game 4. After the break, FlyQuest and Optic Gaming, and Week 6. See who comes out on top when we